said a certain man had two sons in verse 11. These were not some kids he knew. These were his sons. These were those that shared an inheritance that was coming from him. These were those that had come out of him into the world. These were those that he had a part in the creation of. So when we look at this and we say the sinners and the saved folk, y'all know that's what it's talking about, right? They both started in the house as sons. It says in Genesis chapter 2, it says that God breathed into our nostrils the breath of life and we became a living soul. When we received that breath from God, when God breathed that into man, that was God depositing his essence in us. What makes a son is that the Father's essence has been deposited into him. So, contrary to our popular religious belief, those out there are children of God just like these in here. Those are his kids, so are we. We've just taken different paths. Because we all started in the house before sin entered in. So we got two types of children. The saved children and the unsaved. I know this is wrecking a few people's theology, but I'm just telling you what the words say. Just like there were two in Adam's house, Cain and Abel. They both started off as sons. They both started off with the same rights and privileges as sons. One went one way, one went another way. Okay, let's move on. Verse 12. And the younger of them said to his father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. The younger son, the one that was not as mature as the other son, the one that had not realized the benefits of being a son, the one that figured that he was smart enough to take care of business his way, do things himself. He said, I want what's coming to me. How many of us have said, I want what's coming to me? I want what I deserve. I work hard. I deserve this. I deserve that. I want what's coming to me. How many of us got to that point where we said, I'm grown. I think I can make these decisions on my own. I think I can figure out the best way to handle this myself. I'm getting out. I got to go. And how many of us got out there? Anyway. Okay. Verse 13. Now I'm going to stay on 12. He divided unto them his living. The father was willing to let the son go out there, even if it cost him. Because, see, the father realized the value of a good education. And some lessons had to be bought instead of taught. And he had to go out there and buy this lesson. So the father went ahead and gave both to him. Now, you had two sons. Doesn't talk much about the other son. The other son didn't mind staying at home with the father. He didn't mind the rules. He didn't mind the regulations. He didn't mind the issues, the father getting on his case. He didn't mind all that stuff. But the younger one was a little bit more rebellious. He wanted to handle his own business. Let me keep going. And not many days after, the younger gathered all together. I got my stuff. That old man can't tell me what to do. I'm getting on down. And he took his journey into a far country and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Let me give you a definition here. Riotous living, the way it's defined, is rebellious, contrary to the authority of living in the house with the Father. Living how the Father would not, and I'm adding into the definition, living how his Father would not have wanted or allowed him to live. So what he did was he took his money and he went out and did everything that Daddy wouldn't let him do while he was at home. You ain't going to let me do this, I'm doing it. You ain't going to let me party over here, I'm partying over there. You ain't going to and he went to a far country. He got far enough away where Daddy couldn't touch it. And he wasted everything that he had. Somebody said when the fun was over. Verse 14, and when he had spent all there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to want. Why is it that as soon as you do everything that you feel like you need to do, you get your party on, you just do everything that you feel that you couldn't do, all of a sudden, there's a famine in the land, falling on hard times. Something ain't right. Now, I got a secret for you, though. If you go on in this, everybody wasn't having a hard time. They said it was a famine in the land, but everybody wasn't having a hard time. It just happened to be that he was involved with the hard time. See, he had wasted everything. There was a famine in the land. He began to want. And verse 15 says, and he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. So if the citizen was able to hire him to go feed his swine, that citizen wasn't having no famine. But see, he was a citizen of that country. He was a citizen of that country. You see, some of us, we're not citizens of that country. So when we get out in that country whoops our butt. Okay, let me make it a little plainer. Some of us are citizens of mom and daddy house. And we get grown and full of ourselves, and we want to go out into that country. And we get messed up. And you know what? The reason this son wanted what he wanted in the first place was pride. The reason this son attached himself to the citizen of that country was pride. He was too proud to go back home and say, Dad, I messed up. So now he got to get his tail whooped. Life is going to have to put a whooping on him. He's going to get some of those battle scars. Some of y'all know where your battle scars are. You can probably show them if you want to. And he would have fain filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. This was Jesus. Jesus was a Jew telling this story. Jesus was telling this story to Jews. And a Jew don't fool with no pig. Period. Jews don't touch pigs. Jews won't get close to it. Matter of fact, if you've been eating pig, they ain't fooling with you. So for this boy to be feeding the swine was one thing, being a Jew boy. But for him to be in this pen with them and be in a position where he'd eat their food, that's as low as you can go. Some of us get so far out there, we get as low as we can go. We get down to the nitty gritty. And you know what? He could have turned back when he messed up his money, but he didn't because he was too proud. He could have turned back when he went to that citizen, and the citizen told him, well, you're going to have to feed pigs if you work here. No, I ain't fooling with no pigs. I go back to daddy. But see, some of us hard-headed. We got to get kicked in the head by a mule before we figure out what we need to figure out. So, and you know, now this is the brother that left. This the brother out there. We in here. So, you know, if it applies, it applies. If it don't, it don't. If you step on your toe, don't even say ouch, because somebody's going to look around and they're going to know who you are. So he joined himself to the citizen, and he would have eaten what the pigs eat. And then it says in verse 17, it says, and when he came to himself, when he realized who he was, he said, wait a minute. I'm a Jew. I'm not getting in there with those pigs. I'm not eating what they eat. I'm a child of God. Something sprung up in him. Something hit him and made him realize who he was. Now, a lot of us will say, well, that's it. I'm off the hook then. They're going to get so far out there that something going to happen, and they're going to realize who they are, and then they're going to run back to God. No. That ain't how it works. That's not how it works. You're going to be that thing that brings them to themselves. That's one of the reasons that our witness is so important. Because when we go out and we testify about how good God is, and when we show how God has changed our life, they'll realize, wait a minute, I don't have to live like this. I don't have to do this. I don't have to mess around like this. I can go back to the house. I can go back home. You mean tell me he loves me too?